Hey everybody, thanks for checking us out at Petersen's Bowhunting. Today, I'm excited to give you a first look at a brand new high-tech bow sight that's just hitting the market. This is the new Xero A1i PRO from Garmin. People will remember the first generation of Xero sight that Garmin introduced a couple years ago, and they've just come out with the A1i PRO that takes that performance and kicks it up another couple of notches. And I've used this thing a little bit already, and I can tell you it is absolutely packed with high-tech features. Okay, now for starters, what is the Xero A1i PRO? At its most basic level, this is a bow sight with a built-in laser rangefinder that allows you to calibrate it to the speed of your bow, and then simply by using this trigger button that you mount right on the front of your riser, draw your bow, range your target, and get a spot-on aiming point displayed inside the sight window for you to use no matter what the distance is, up to the maximum for your bow. For me, that's over 100 yards on my Matthews right here. So all I have to do is draw, range, and shoot. It's that easy. Okay, some basic features of the Xero A1i PRO. First and foremost, it's got a new dovetail mounting system. So you just go ahead and mount this dovetail bracket to your riser, and then the rest of the sight slides right in, and you have your choice of two different mounting locations. Your elevation and your windage is micro adjustable. Simply loosen the set screws here and turn this dial for elevation and this dial for windage. You also got laser alignment knobs here. That's going to be during the initial setup of the sight. You're going to align the laser with your eye at full draw when you look through your peep sight for ranging. There's a on-screen and also in the sight window instructions for the initial setup of this. Setup on this new Pro Series is super easy. All you have to do is sight in your 20-yard pin and then go to any distance 40 yards or greater and sight in at that secondary distance. Once you do those two things, if you know the speed of your bow, it's going to give an automatic calibration and you can make fine-tuning from there. I don't want to go into all the details right now, but suffice it to say that in less than 30 minutes, I had this bow and this sight dialed in together, and I was amazed because I was able to walk around out on the range at any random distance, range the target, and make an accurate shot. You'll see that I just turned the sight on, and it actually says axis 4mm there on the screen. The neat thing about this sight is that you can actually calibrate different arrow profiles. So if you shoot different arrows for different purposes with a single bow, or even if you were to take this sight off of one bow and put it on another, you can save different arrow profiles within the sight. So these axis 4mm are the arrows that I'm shooting here with this particular bow. Now, I'm gonna demonstrate how easy it is to use this once it's set up. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw an anchor, and I'm gonna push the ranging button and get a range. 29 yards. I get a aiming come up now. I make the shot. That's all there is to it. You're going to hold down the trigger until you get a range. It's going to display the range on the screen, and then you're going to see a single aiming point illuminated in that. Can you see that? So depending on the range, if the range would be longer, that dot is going to move lower inside the sight screen. If the range is shorter, the dot is going to move higher. And you're just going to range and shoot. So if I move back, for instance, okay, let's come all the way back here. I have no idea how far we are, but that's the beauty of this sight, right? It doesn't matter. I'm just going to, it's actually a good simulation of a hunting scenario, right? You're in a blind, you're in a tree, you're stalking, you got an opportunity that presents itself. Okay, you can see I actually have a rangefinder hanging around my neck. But I don't need it because I can just draw, arrange that at 36 yards. and make the shot. That looked like it was about 1 inch off of the bullseye right there. So again, it was that quick, right? I drew, I got my range, I used the dot that was provided, and I made my shot. Now, that is sort of the most basic functionality of what the Xero A1i PRO is going to do for you, right? That draw, range, and shoot. But there's so much more that this sight can do. If you prefer, you can display a series of fixed pins, just like a traditional bow sight. And so there you can see I've got pre-illuminated aiming points in 10-yard increments from 20 to 100 yards. So that's an option. You can have that as a default, and if you don't have time or choose not to for some reason to take a range, you can just use those fixed pins to take a shot. If you have time, it's always best, I think, to get an accurate range down to the very yard. So you go ahead and draw, get your range, get your aiming point, and make the shot, just like that. So I could walk around here to any random distance, do that, you're gonna be dead on. Don't have to worry about shooting gaps. You don't have to worry about adjusting pins. It's literally just squeeze that trigger and shoot. And honestly, even though it displays the range on the screen, in the heat of the moment, hunting, you don't even have to look at that. You know that that rangefinder is accurate. It could say 35 in there, it could say 75, 64, 42, 37, it doesn't matter. Range your target and shoot as quickly as you need to. There's a built-in level inside of this sight, so you can choose several different options for how it's going to display that information, but it will actually show you at full draw if you're tilting your bow one way or another, and give you sort of a pre-shot warning that you're going to be off kilter and possibly have your arrow drift off course. There's a flight apex feature built into this sight. If you turn that on, in addition to your aiming point for a given range, it will put a dot above the aiming point that shows the highest point that your arrow will reach in between the bow and the target. So let's say I'm shooting at a deer out there where that target is, but there are some overhanging limbs, okay, in the way. By using that flight apex feature, at full draw, I can see whether those limbs fall above or below that flight apex, and I can make an informed determination as to whether my arrow is going to make it clean to the target, or if I need to hold off and not take the shot. So that's another great feature that's in there. This sight can even laser locate things by communicating with a Garmin GPS device to actually tell you where your target was at the moment of impact, to help you with tracking and making waypoints that you can save if you have to go back later to take up a trail and things like that. So there are just a ton of incredible things that this new Xero sight can do. And although before I set it up, I was wondering if it might be too complicated, I've actually found it very easy to use. And what it actually does for me is it boosts my confidence, because I know that instead of kind of aiming like as close as I think I can to be accurate, with this sight, I have even if it's, 37.5 yards or 42.5 yards, I've got a dead-on accurate aiming point for every single shot that I take, and that is awesome. So just a couple final features of the Xero A1i PRO. You can adjust the pin brightness, and then there's a automatic light sensor inside the sight. So depending on the particular brightness setting you choose, it'll also brighten things up when it's really sunny, or dim things down a little bit at the end of the day, so you've got a pin that you can see to match light conditions. There's also an XD mode if during your practice sessions, like for example with my setup, I think my max yardage with the sight in its current position is 104 yards. Let's say I want to go out and shoot 120, 130. XD mode will allow me to lower the sight to a given spot, shoot even longer ranges, and then bring it right back to its original position to go back out and hunt. The sight itself weighs 18 ounces, and what more can I say, guys? There's just a lot here, so many features to use to help you be more accurate, be more confident. So go check out the Xero A1i PRO from Garmin. It is, you know, without a doubt, the most advanced high-tech bow sight you're gonna see new on the market here for 2021. Thanks for checking us out at Petersen's Bowhunting. Good luck and be safe out in the field.